24 of the 23rd century's best and brightest engineers and soldiers find themselves mysteriously transported to 1801 after their mining ship, the Anaconda, crosses a space-time warp in the Asteroid Belt. What will they do when they return to New Earth? Live in isolation on a Pacific island? Or put their godlike powers to work, challenging Europe's greatest empires on behalf of native peoples and slaves? Some believe history can be changed, and others think nudging civilization will only lead to disaster. The Anaconda, written by Richard Hanners, narrated by Serena Hart. Hello, and welcome back to another audiobook review. So, I want to start this off by saying this is book 1 to a book I previously did. So, if you have not checked that video out, feel free to check that out after you're done watching this one, or by clicking the link up in the corner right now if you want. I definitely would have to say, before I get into the deep dive of this review, that I actually did like this one a bit more than the second one. But there's positives and negatives to this. Now, the reason I'm doing these books out of order is actually because I received the codes out of order. He wasn't sure if he could get me the codes for the ones he was missing, and this was one of the ones that was missing. But yeah, so if you like sci-fi and you like mystery, and I guess that's really about it, I would definitely say check this out. So yeah. So starting with the cover and title. Now, I know I mentioned this in my previous review of book 2, but I'm going to say it again here, and I might just skip it for the rest of them. I might just go with a solid rating and say, hey, check out the first 2 books. But I think it falls a little bit flat with the cover and the title. So I'm going to have to give this 3 stars. If the author were to rebrand the cover and maybe work on the title as much as he can, because I know, being an author myself, it's really hard. I mean, he would have to delete the current listing and republish it through Amazon or KDP as a complete new listing, which is going to be a nightmare all across the board. So I think the best bet for him would just to start with the cover and just ride the title out as much as he can. I mean, it's kind of fine, being this one being called the Anaconda. But the thing is that on the audiobook cover, Serena's name isn't even on the audiobook cover, as you can see here. And this cover just does not scream sci-fi. And that's what this really is. This one, above all the others, probably, is more sci-fi than the rest. So I say that is technically what hurts it the most. But that's if you're one of those people that believes that book covers sell books. I'm not of that mind. I believe that, word of mouth is what sells covers. If you look at the original Harry Potter book cover, it was very kiddish. It was a book being marketed to kids. And because kids actually read it, they got invested in the story. And then it got turned into a movie. And that is what skyrocketed up. I'm not of the mindset that book covers actually sell books, but maybe there are people out there who do judge books by their covers. So I would say that would be where I'd start. Now moving into the narration. And for the narration, I am going to give this 4 stars. Now, Serena Hart did really good. In the last one I reviewed, she was pretty much perfect. Here, I'm not sure how much she's actually done as far as a narrator, but it seemed as if she was just kind of finding the right voices and tones for the characters she was going to be doing. There were a little bit of times where it sounded a little, I guess, robotic is the best way I could say it. I don't know. It just felt like she was still trying to find how she was going to do this book. Um, but I do know, having heard the second one first, it does get better. But I did still enjoy it. So she didn't do horrible. She needed to improve, and I already knew she did improve. So that's why it's 4 stars here. Now moving into the writing. And once again, for the writing, I'm going to give this 5 stars. The writing was pretty much really, really good. I really enjoyed it. There was no major issues here. Now moving on to the story. And I'm going to have to give the story 5 stars. This was way different than what I was expecting. Like I said, with the previous book, and I know I keep saying that a lot, I'm sorry. But that's, the only information I have. I'm coming in with this one like a prequel. But with the previous one already known to me, I had sort of this idea of what occurred before that book. Honestly, I'll tell you exactly what I thought. I thought that a good portion of the book was going to be these 2 guys who were pretending to be workers on this mining colony, and the mining ship was getting ready to depart, and they sabotaged the whole facility, got caught, and were being taken back to Earth to stand trial for their crimes. And something happened along the way, and the ship got hit or something by some space anomaly, which interacted with the ship materials and stuff, and ended up causing them to go back in time, where they were going to realize, hey, we're over Earth, or we're close to Earth, but it's not Earth as we know it, because there's no satellites, there's nothing up here. It's clear skies, which means they would initially send a troop down to find out, they went back in time. And then the 2 criminals, who were basically like your modern day activists, they were going to break loose and free and steal a shuttle and go down, and the captain was going to send someone else after them, and it was going to be a manhunt, and then they were all going to realize what's going on, that they're back in time. And I just thought it was going to go from there. But it actually turned out way different, and it still was enjoyable. I didn't mind it being different. Now moving on to the characters. And for the characters, I'm going to have to give this 5 stars because I really did enjoy these characters. I really enjoyed getting to know and see the characters go from the beginning to where they're going to be. There also was actually character arcs that progressed the story, came to their conclusions. We didn't get a big. This doesn't seem like a big fighting type. There's not a lot of really big action. It's just, oh, go do this. Oh, go do that. You know, there's no big climax, which worked in this one, but not so much the second one. The reason why it didn't really work as well in the second one is because there was potential for there to be a big climax. Here, the big climax was putting some of the characters where they're going to be in book 2. And that was all accomplished here. I mean, it's still set up, but it was a conclusional setup where something had to happen to get it there. So there are no extras in this book. So let's just go ahead and move on to the final score. And the final score for Anaconda, I'm going to have to say, is a 7 out of 10. Again, I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. Story and characters were much better. It was definitely a strong start. If I had started with this, I might have been a little bit more, knowledgeable come the sequel. But yeah, it's mostly just how I took it in. Maybe that would be different for everyone else, but if you would like to have your audiobook reviewed and you're an author like me, please, I do ask that you reach out to me. If you are a reader and you enjoy a good fantasy or a good time travel story that's sci-fi based, definitely consider checking this out. It's really good. I think you'll enjoy it. I'm definitely interested now to know where this goes from here, though. And I think the best thing that the author could do is, like I said, maybe work on the covers a little bit. And that's about it. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you have not, please consider subscribing to this channel. Make sure to click the notification bell, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.